You came again today, didn't you? When I saw your face, I felt a little relieved, but I wasn't particularly happy. No, probably not. Oh, stop making that face. That's not what I meant. Today. Anyway, we cats don't make a big fuss about it, but actually, it's a sign they often show when they're in a bit of a pinch. I'll teach you that. I'll make sure you notice. That would be helpful though. The cat is hiding and won't come out because it's not feeling well. Because it's tiring, I don't usually stay in the background. For no reason at all, suddenly put it in the closet or under the bed. When you go in and then never come out again, it's a sign that you're feeling pretty exhausted, right? For example, if you have a stomach ache or a fever, it's hard to even move, and I can't stand the sounds and smells of the outside. Sometimes the stinging sensation feels really strong. When I say that, I don't want anyone to touch me and I want to be alone. I just want to be in peace. Don't try to force me to come out. I'm there because it's the most painful thing for me to experience. Just leave me alone, as if to say, I understand. I want it. Just having that would make me feel a little more at ease. Sometimes cats suddenly start acting strangely. There's something wrong when you start crying. She was usually quiet, but suddenly she started crying. If the frequency increases, it becomes unpleasant in some way. It could be a sign that they are feeling anxious or worried. No, I don't have a bloated stomach or anything like that. Things aren't going well or something like that. I feel restless or lonely. We're feeling a bit panicked, and that's partly our reason too. There are some things I'm not entirely sure about. Anyway, something was different than usual and I'm crying because I want to tell you. They are either too loud or have an unstable tone. If that's the case, then I think it's a bit of a cry for help. I want you to pay attention to this. For example, I want you to buy it. Even if that's all it is, that's still a wonderful feeling. Yes. So, cats don't like being touched. Something hurts, so I usually don't like being petted. Even though I like you, one day when I try to touch you, you avoid me. If they suddenly become
Cats
grumpy,
hide their
it might be
suffering so
because
quietly.
if that happens, it might be a sign that something is hurting. No, just casually touching the joints of the back, stomach, and legs. If it reacts strongly to touch, be careful. Often, nothing shows up in my eyes, but I think I tend to keep things to myself, so I don't show it on my face even when I'm suffering. That's why I try to make small changes. I'd be really grateful if you noticed. Being left alone is the most lonely and painful thing for me. If you think something seems a little off, I'd be happy if you'd pay attention right away. Cats sometimes stop furring or furring excessively. My mind is unstable, so I'm going to the hair bag. For them, it's a routine to calm down. But then, that suddenly disappears or the opposite happens. When it becomes uncontrollable, it's often due to stress. It's a sign that you are feeling lonely or something. For example, moving house or furniture arrangement meetings. Changes in the environment, such as visitors, are visually apparent.
Come
It has
here,
a much
please.
greater impact. The same thing for hours.
Are you
If you
feeling
keep licking
okay?
that spot and the hair is thinning, that's a danger sign. It's not just a habit or a whim. I thought maybe my mind was tired because I hadn't finished it. I want you to just watch quietly. I can't make a sound though. They do provide help sometimes too. 5. The reason the cat is lethargic and not moving is because inside its body something is wrong. So even though my eyes are open, I can't see anything. It doesn't move. It doesn't even blink when I call out to it. When that happens, something is actually happening inside your body. That happens a lot. Like when you have a fever, we sometimes feel nauseous and generally not in good condition. Even in bad times, try to remain quiet and endure. Yeah, so conversely, when it's too quiet than usual, that's exactly why you should be careful. It's not just because you're sleepy. Sometimes it's not there. In those situations, you can force it. Being played with and held it's tough. Just having you quietly by my side would be enough because it makes me feel a little more at ease. That atmosphere, it's actually a huge help when someone can sense things like that. Yes. The reason why 6 cats stop drinking water is because of their internal organs. Because it's a burden, I usually do it frequently. I used to drink water all the time, but then one day I suddenly stopped drinking it completely. If you stop drinking, it might be dangerous. Kidneys, jams, and other internal organs. When there's something wrong with the system, you can avoid water. Yes, it happens. When you feel unwell or nauseous. And things like that also have an influence, and yet honestly, it would be pretty tough if no one noticed me. We are creatures that don't naturally drink much water. That makes it even harder to spot the abnormality. Whether or not you drink water every day I'd be happy if you just watch it, even if you didn't. That's all. It can also lead to the early detection of diseases. The frequency with which a cat goes to the litter box can increase or decrease depending on its physical condition. Toilets are not working properly, which is a minor issue. It's visible, but it's quite important to us. It's a place. I've suddenly started going there more often. If you stop going altogether, that's. If there is a problem with the kidneys, assault, or something else, it might be a sign that something is going on. I was squatting the whole time, but nothing came out. And then after it's over, I feel strangely restless. Be careful in times like these, when it hurts or you're in pain. I'm just showing it through my body because I can't cry. If you just go along with it thinking it's a whim, it hurts and makes me anxious. That's why I checked the toilet situation. I'd appreciate it if you could just take a look at it casually. That's a relief. When a cat becomes less affectionate than usual, it's both emotionally and physically. Because I don't have the time, he usually sits on my lap. They used to snuggle up to me, but suddenly they distance themselves. If you start taking them, that's a pretty serious issue. It might be a sign. It's not that I've come to dislike it. It's just that I'm feeling down and don't want to interact with anyone. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a bad mood, like my body feels sluggish. We also feel down sometimes. There are times when you just can't help but pick them up. Trying to get involved will only make things worse. Just being quietly by your side is just right. That's it.
Hey,
Sometimes.
kitty.
That's
Come
all it
here.
takes to get the message across. That's why. The 9 cats stared blankly at one point. They're there because their consciousness is hazy, staring intently at a single point on the wall, like behind the television. When I'm doing that, I feel like I can see something. It is often thought that way, but in reality, consciousness is hazy. Sometimes it's just that. Sometimes I feel unwell and my thoughts stop. When I try to do it, it freezes up and doesn't move. Yeah, and we have a habit of pretending to be okay. That's why it's even harder to notice. In those situations, you can try calling out to them, or if they respond. If it's late, I hope you'll be a little concerned. That's a relief. If it's left to dig, it will just keep growing. It can get tough at times. When a cat suddenly starts leaving food uneaten, it could be due to something inside its body. It's time for dinner because it's screaming. They didn't come, or they weren't as engrossed as usual, stopping eating halfway through, or things like that. That's actually a pretty serious sign. Inside the mouth, I feel pain, or my stomach is upset, or something like that. When you feel sick or something like that, you don't feel like eating. We can't become like that, but we're naturally moody. If that's the case, the real abnormality will be overlooked. Sometimes that happens, leaving the usual amount behind. If that continues for several days, then keep a close eye on it. I want it. It depends on whether they notice it early or not. The speed of recovery will also change. Cats don't usually make a big fuss about wanting attention. Sometimes people endure it without anyone noticing. Yes, it exists. That's why we talked about it today. If you notice even small changes, I'll be honest, it's quite a relief. Well, that's what I'd say. But I don't think I'm relying on you. But I'm showing you my sign because I trust you. That's also a possibility. If you notice, I might be happy. Even just a little bit of this story, that was helpful. I'll subscribe to your channel. I guess it's okay if they give it to me. If that happens, I might even think about the next story. I won't force you, but if you feel like it, it's all right. Really. So today, I think I'll call it a day and take a nap. Bring some snacks next time. See you then.